We back in the building. We back in the building. Big salute, big shout out everybody taking care of them dogs, man, across the world. All the pet lovers, all the pit bull breeders, pit bull lovers across the world, from the top of the globe to the bottom of the globe. Got some dog talk for my brothers and sisters today. Big salute to everybody, and big shout out to everybody down in that chat. Everybody that's watching or listening to the video from afar. You know, let's just jump straight into it. First thing I want to speak about, Pitbull's performance. You know, me and some of the other brothers, we was talking about this, and I felt like there's a need to talk about, has the Pitbull performance peaked? Has it peaked, and is it on the decline when it comes to Pitbull performance overall in comparison? Has the breed peaked in its performance level? And if it has peaked, is it on the decline? Just some questions that need to be asked around this dog community. Now, if it has peaked, what years did it peak in? What years do you feel like the best pit bulls ever existed, all the way around the board? Not just one dog, not just two dogs, but all the dogs in general were better, is what you're saying. When did the pit bull game peak, and is it on a decline? Or is it getting better? It could be getting better. Some people may think the dogs are getting better. Some people may think the dogs are getting worse, But if they're getting worse, when did they start getting worse? A lot of brothers will say that 80s, 90s era, they were the best. And then after that, from the 2000s era, they start getting worse. After the early 2000s. After the early 2000s, they start getting worse. Now, my thing is, we see a lot of great dogs come out the 80s, out the 90s. But the pit bulls existed in this country from the 1800s. Do you mean to tell me 20 years of bulldogs, achieved everything and anything none of the other bulldogs could achieve when it came to their program? When did the dog game peak? If you feel like that, and if you feel like it has already peaked, then you have to feel like it's on the decline now. We got to think about it when we make these statements about the dogs weren't like they used to be, and we all make them. I make them, you make them, she make them, he make them. Dogs aren't like they used to be, and like we said, the laws aren't like they used to be is the number one reason we feel like that. And as we get older in age, we look at things different. We make different moves, So I say, a lot of times it comes from who you hearing this story from. You know what I'm saying? The person that's giving you the story, or the person that's telling you that the dogs were better in their era. The dogs were always the dogs. They're going to always be the dogs. Me, myself, I feel like the dogs are the same. It's just the things around the dogs that have changed, and you may not have the same type of dog that you had in that era. If you still got dogs, you may not have the same kind of dog, but that don't mean somebody else don't possess the same kind of dog that you got or you had during that time, with the kind of drive or kind of go that you talking about. The same way I'm speaking about the Red Boy puppies from 94, 95. I can say those are the best puppies I have ever seen to this day. I haven't seen any puppies I had to this day. And at the same time, it can be a brother on the other side of the country that got puppies just like that right now. I haven't seen them. But that don't mean the dog don't exist. you know. So when did the Pitbull game peak, and when did it start to decline? Why do you say it's a decline if you say it's a decline? You know, and we're talking about performance-wise with the dogs. We're not talking about a decline in the actual community of these people, you know, or the way people acting now compared to the way they was acting back then. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the dog itself, you know. Has the dog gotten better, or has the dog got worse? To the brothers that say the 80s and the 90s were the peak, you know, all the breeding that Mr. Kobe, Mr. Light, and all them brothers did back in the days, where were they at? If this is the peak, you know, if this was, you say 1 to 100, and this was considered 100 in the 80s and the 90s, was considered level 100, where would Mr. Kobe, Mr. Light, and all them other brothers from the early 1900s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, where would they be ranked at with their bulldogs? 50? And like we was saying on the last show, some of these old brothers that maybe passed away already, maybe 80, 90 years old, that was bulldogging, if they got up here and actually told us the bulldog stories and the things they seen and the type of dogs they seen throughout their lifetime at that age, I'm sure that their stories will run circles around our stories. And the brothers from the 80s stories, and the brothers from the 70s stories. You know, the further you go back, the more, I'm gonna say it like this, in my opinion, you know, the further you go back, you know, the more you're gonna see if you got a real bulldog or not. You know, you start getting to the point in this dog game where these brothers making up rules to help the losing dog win just in case. Scratch to win, all this other stuff like this. All that stuff is to help the losing dog win. The point of going to the pit back in them days was to see who had the better dog. Now, if it's your dog scratch and your dog don't scratch, what's the point? See, all these different rules were made throughout the years to help the losing dog. Oh, you didn't come out your scratch. You know this thing go tick for tack. You know, if you can't make your tack or you can't make your tick, the game don't rely on me to make my tick. The game is over. That's why I say that scratch to win is different. I feel like I said, if one dog don't scratch, you lost, right? Now the scratch to win makes it where if he don't scratch, he didn't lose yet. He got to wait to see if this other dog gonna scratch. You know what I'm saying? If he don't scratch, then what? It's a draw. So like I said, all that is to help the other dog that really lost, help him stay in a show that he should have been out of minutes ago. Taken away from the actual point of, do you really got a bulldog? And we're gonna speak about a couple things on that as well. Do you really got a bulldog, or are you adding these things to make you a bulldog? Different supplements, different injectables, all this stuff you adding to make a bulldog, but did you breed a bulldog? You see? I take pride in breeding bulldogs. That's the whole point of the game. Breeding bulldogs. You know what I'm saying? See, bite. Every dog in this world, any dog in this world, from wolves on down to chihuahuas, bite. You know, of course, they all bite with different, PSI with pressure and stuff like that. But for the most part, all dogs bite. And then when it comes to pit bulls biting hard, you have plenty of dogs that bite harder than pit bulls. Pit bulls is not a top bite uh, uh, dog that can bite hard. But see, when it came to the pits, what made them magical, what made them great, was the gameness. The average dog don't possess gameness that the pit bull dog possesses. You know what I'm saying? It's the gameness. Y'all brothers weeding away from what the breed was created from. The breed wasn't created on mouth. The breed was created on gameness. But you want mouth, and then you turn around and tell me, by me going to these shows, doing these things the right ways, that I'm breeding away from, going away from the standards. But I say you running for all that mouth, you going away from the standards. You know, and you know, I'm just saying, man. You know, when the dogs peak, when did we get our best dogs? You know, somebody drop something down in the chat for me. Let me know something. What it is when it come to that. You know? And like I said, all dogs bite. You know what I'm saying? The pit bull ain't biting no different than the next dog. It's just the gameness. And I'm not talking about when they attack somebody. Not talking about that at all. We talking about biting either when they're hunting something or in some type of activity where they have to bite it. You know, and bite pressure matters. You know, I mean, even in stuff like tug of wars, your dog will clamp down on the rope. It's gonna matter who's the gamest and who's the strongest as well. You know, but if a dog get in lock, say a dog get in limbo where both dogs are just pulling and both dogs are strong and the rope is not moving and they're just stuck, you know, one dog is gonna quit because he's gonna get frustrated that he's not moving the rope. He can't get the rope to move the way he wanted to move. So he's gonna either let go or he's gonna do something where the other dog will take advantage. The breed was built on gameness. You know, and like I always say, this breed is not meant for a lot of people. A lot of people are seeking things from this dog that the dog don't possess. A lot of people want super dogs. You know what I'm saying? You want super dogs when you get these dogs and you think these dogs, like I said before, you think these pedigrees are going to give you the dog that you desire. The pedigree is just a bill of sale. The pedigree is just your title, showing you where your dogs come from. You need to know about these dogs, period, in general. If you bring it to your house, your family, you need to know what you're bringing. You know, because all dogs aren't the same. All puppies aren't the same. Oh, yeah, he's a cute puppy. Put these 10 puppies down, and you mess with all 10 of these puppies back to back, and watch how different all 10 of these puppies act. Oh, man, this dog do this. Oh, this one do that. Different personalities. Now, when it comes to bulldog history, you know, the folk that you consider legends, the folk that you consider heroes and different things, let me ask you this, you know, I'm going to say this rather. All heirs must be respected. I don't care which heir it is. All heirs must be respected for their, you know, in their own way. You know, because at the end of the day, like I always say, you got to respect the brothers in Mr. Kobe, them era, Mr. Lightning, them era, Mr. Lloyd, Charlie Lloyd era. You know, you got to respect brothers in Mr. Tudor, them era. And I'm going to say it like this, you know, great bulldoggers, you know, respected over time. But you can't compare the errors. You got to let an era be an era. Let these dog brothers be the dog brothers from their era, and the next era move on. Because at the end of the day, when you start comparing eras and comparing and letting all that stuff clash and collide, Mr. Tudor didn't do, what did Mr. Tudor do? All right, I'm going to say it like this rather. What Mr. Tudor did back then would be considered average right now. You know, the average dog brother or average brother with dogs, pit bulls, is doing what Mr. Tudor did back then. The average brother, not the high, the top dog brothers, the average brother. 100 dogs, 20 dogs, 10 dogs, 50 dogs, it don't make no difference. It's what you do with the dogs. He doing average dog man stuff. Mr. Carver doing average dog man stuff. Mr. Kobe did average dog man stuff when you're comparing them to brothers in our era. Everybody got their own era. That's where we gotta leave them in their era. You know? Brothers bring the greatness that they did from their era and their times, and you try to overshadow what brothers got going on in the 2000s and modern day time. Then it goes back to me asking y'all, brothers and sisters, when did the pit bulls peak? You know, who thought or when did you feel like these were the best pit bulls, and what made these the best pit bulls throughout this era? Because I already know it's going to be a lot of brothers that say the pit bulls were the best in the 80s throughout the 90s. That's why I said that. And some may even say from the 70s through the 90s. But what makes you say this? Because more dogs are being publicized? Because you know about this dog and you know about that dog? You know? What was looked at as normal in the 90s is looked at as unachievable right now. You see these dogs and these pedigrees and different things from the 90s, and you may see something to say 5-time, 10-time winner, whatever time winner behind them. And you look at it like, oh, competition this, they ain't going to no competition. Oh, backyard this or this. The thing is, man, every era is different. You can't put your era and try to compare it because you're going to always have problems. Whether it's yours seeming like it's better or yours seeming like it's worse. Either way, you're going to always have problems. That's why we always say, and we're going to stand on this, the laws are the only reason you talking about Yellow, Red Boy, Jeep, and all them other dogs. If it wasn't for the laws and brothers could still bulldog the way they was bulldogging in the 90s, it wouldn't be no reason for them dogs. At least I'm gonna say it like this: there will be a reason for them, maybe, but you would know who the dogs is that you can rely on in modern day time if we were still doing things like the 90s. You know, there's no way, man. And like I said before, somewhere or another, between all the millions of people that dealt with these dogs from the mid 1800s when they was imported in to 2025. Somewhere or another, we feel like it's only a handful of people or a handful of these great dogs. You know what I'm saying? Handful of people with them. Handful of people that can be acknowledged to saying, oh, he's a certain dog person. Now, another question I will ask, you know, when it comes to steroids, brothers don't consider that cheating in the dog game back in the days, right? But when you're talking about sharpening your teeth, what do y'all think about that? Would you consider brothers sharpening their teeth? Would you consider brothers using cap teeth, dogs with caps, razor sharp caps on their teeth as cheating? One may say all that stuff gonna fall out, this and that. Would you consider it cheating? You know, that's what I'm saying. And that all goes back down to a few things, you know. Number one thing is, are we breeding for bulldogs? Or are we trying to create and add and put all this stuff in and on our dogs, like I said, to make it seem like we got a bulldog. The whole point of the game is to create one where you don't have to add a steroid, where you don't have to add a rub, where you don't have to add none of that stuff. You can go out there, do what you got to do, and with a fresh, clean dog. That's the whole point of breeding good dogs. Now, let me touch on this real quick. And I'm speaking on, is it cheating when you sharpen your teeth? You may go and do a hunt, a hog hunt, And like I said, this right here, we speaking about the 90s. Would you consider that cheating? Now, I wanted to say this before I forget about the shows. When it comes to AKC, UKC, ADBA shows, dog shows, they are not the same. Don't get it twisted. I haven't been in the AKC shows as far as judging or anything like that, but I've been dealing with the AKC world a long time, and I know the way that they conduct their business when it comes to them shows and the way ADBA do their shows is not the same. They're not looking for the same type of stuff in their dogs. ADBA is not being judged on how this dog prance around in this circle. You may walk your dog around, but they're not being judged on him taking certain steps, doing all this, looking pretty in a certain kind of way. They're not judging on him how he hold his head up, all kind of ways. AKC takes the working out of working dogs. No matter what breed it is, AKC takes working out of the working dogs. ADBA is not trying to take working out of your dog. They want your dog still in working form. See, the only thing that is the same about ADBA shows and AKC is they call shows, confirmation shows. It's the only thing the same. It's the name of them, a show and a show. You're being judged on different things when it comes to ADBA and AKC, and that's what brothers, not saying about one or two brothers, but a lot of folk will get it twisted. When you look at Westminster show, and you look at, and even if you deal with them dogs in them shows, them AKC and UKC dogs, even if you deal with them type of dogs, you will get the wrong impression from how AKC do they business. You know what I'm saying? It's a proven fact they done destroyed the German Shepherd, like I said, the Rottweiler, like I said, the Doberman Pinscher, like I said. They ruining these dogs, AKC, and that's only with the show. ADBA is not doing it in that way. So when any brother say these shows are like these shows, and it's giving the Pitbull brothers, making them think that, oh man, I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? It's not about losing gameness or losing your Pitbull traits in the ADBA. Like I said before, is your dog still considered a cur? If he jumped the box and he saves your life within the next week, will you still be calling him a cur? Or will he be the family's best friend? Like I said before, everybody want to say a 2-hour cur is a cur, when half of y'all ain't seen something that go an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? Half of y'all ain't seen something that go an hour and a half, and even more of that, ain't never had shit that go an hour and a half. But you talking about what these dogs do in 2 hours. Now, like I said, we just warming this thing up, man. We just warming this thing up. I'm about to get into some of this dog talk. You know what I'm saying? Um, Y'all still ain't told me yet. You know, do you consider it cheating if a brother cap off his dog's mouth with some razor sharp teeth back in them days? You know, and I heard plenty of incidences where this happened at. You know, and it's not really what considered cheating. Or maybe it was considered cheating. But if you gotta do all this stuff to enhance your dog, you say your dog coming to the box on steroids with cap teeth, sharp teeth, whichever way you gotta put it, you know, and forbid he got rubbed down on him. I mean, what did you breed? You know, what did you breed? You taking all the fun out of the game. You're supposed to be able to breed this type of stuff. Oh, I got these puppies. These puppies are super dogs. Not, oh, I got to add all this stuff to make them a super dog. And believe it or not, you know what I'm saying? We all know steroids will make a dog up the level. We'll make them up the level. But you can breed that same up level in dogs sometimes. You know, you guaranteed to see, I guarantee that you could talk to a brother across this country that been in the dog game over the past 40 years, and they'll tell you that they had a dog that they could not shoot with steroids because he was already too juiced up already. I guarantee they'll tell you that. That's because of the breeding practices. You see, when you rely on all this other stuff, you fade away from what you're trying to breed. Oh, I don't need the gameness. I can throw this in it. And this is going to give me an extra 15, 20 minutes. You know? Oh, I can throw this in it. I don't need that drive. I can throw this in it and it's going to give me that. Or I can give them this supplement and it's going to give me that. Relying on all this stuff, which the old schoolers from the 1900s up, they didn't rely on all that stuff we relied on. They relied on the bulldog. Let the dogs do the talking, like we say. Let them things do the talking, man. Big salute and shout out to all the folk that rocking with the bait. Y'all hit that like button up, man. Like I said, we just getting warmed up. We just getting started. Y'all come on up in here. Y'all come on up in here like you always do. And let's get this thing the way you always get it. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me now. Talk to me. Is it cheating? You know what I'm saying? Do you really got a bulldog? What is you really trying to breed for? You know what I'm saying? What is you really trying to breed for? I mean, just some questions to ask brothers in this game. From the beginning of the time when it come to these dogs, man, they wasn't bred for the bite. You know what I'm saying? They were not bred for the bite. When these brothers got intrigued with the dog, they said, oh man, have you ever seen these dogs they call Pitbulls? Or whatever they was calling them back then? Have you ever seen them? They go. They don't stop. They wasn't bragging about. They bite hard, man. They bite hard, man. You don't think them brothers back in the days had dogs back then that was biting harder than pit bulls? Back then they had them. It wasn't that excited them. It was the non-stop go, which a lot of people don't breed for now. You know, you're not breeding for your drive, your gameness. You're breeding for biting power. Oh man, he can bite. I done heard over a decade worth of bite talk. So I know damn well over a decade worth of breeding has been made just off the strength of bite. Just off the strength of bite. No gameness. They're not breeding off gameness, they breeding how hard he can bite. But like I said, man, just a few questions to warm this thing up, my brothers, giving it to you the way I always give it to you, PBK style. Some gonna like it, some ain't, the way I always say. You know what I'm saying? You little funky ass bitch that you fucking with, Today she might be that one that don't like it. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? PBK style, baby. Giving it to my brothers and sisters the way I always do. Now, you know, I've been nice for a long time, but it's time to get back to this dog talk. Let's get to this dog talk, man. Check it out, right? First thing I want to say, when I do this news as a news anchor, it's a lot of stuff. A lot of times I don't want to do the articles. I don't want to talk about it because I may know people. You know, I may know different bulldogs across the country when I see certain things happen and I have to report on it. You know, I don't like that part of the job. You know, I don't like it. But I tell brothers all the time, man, you know, it is what it is. You know, and the thing about it, you got to understand you got choices out here, choices to make. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got them things. Not just one person, two people, but everybody. So when you make the choices you make and you get what you get, you know, it's no time for, oh, trying to look out for this person, trying to look out for that person, trying to look out for this person. Like I said, at the end of the day, I do my dog news and I try to keep my credibility right when it comes to the dog stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to show favoritism to nobody. It is what it is. And the thing about it, none of y'all that ever been in a dog fighting bus can get mad at me at the end of the day. See, you're mad at yourselves because you fucked up. You went out there and screwed up your damn self, right? You're mad at yourself, but you want to be mad at me because I repost something somebody else posted already. You know what I'm saying? None of y'all that been in any dog situation has showed any type of aggression towards the other people that's doing these posting. You know, you only have things to say about me doing my news thing. It's like I said before, everybody wants to hide all this dog stuff that's going on for the last 2 or 3 years. And I got them to speak on a whole bunch of that stuff. Everybody want to hide all that stuff. You know, but I just got to give it to my brothers, man. Like I said, and I always said, you don't want to be on that news, you got choices to make. You know what I'm saying? If you end up on the news, you can't get mad at me. You know, you already know what it was when them folk, before them folk put them handcuffs on you about them dogs, you knew what it was in your head. I'm going to be on that damn dog news. You know what I'm saying? You probably didn't know what all your charges were going to be yet, but you knew you was going to be on that dog news, and it just is what it is. It's nothing personal. You know what I'm saying? The thing, it come, like I told you before, you know, as long as brothers making certain decisions, it's going to be job security. It ain't nothing for me to be happy about because you get jammed up or you get jammed up. At the end of the day, good news, bad news, dog news is dog news. Let's make a lot of good news for these dogs that we can talk about. You know? Not your basic shit. Stop being basic when it comes to your dogs and when it comes to your pit bulls. You know, it's too easy to be basic. And then brothers get mad because you don't want to be basic. You know, and then a lot of brothers, it's a thing. You can't worry about. You can't, like I said, worrying about validating or worrying about trying to fit in or worrying about what this bullshit ass motherfucker thinking, you know, because they can't get they joint together. You know, being backyard is a way of thinking. You see, buying a dog from a brother, 6 months later, a year later, buying a dog from a brother, a year later claiming a dog is grand champion in a year, and then turn around, talk trash to the brother you bought the dog from, and then trying to go to another brother on another part of the country to get the same kind of dogs because you done screwed up with the people who really got the dogs. See, that's backyard. Backyard is the way of thinking. It ain't, oh, because you did your show against a high top dog man, a dog man who well known. That ain't backyard. That ain't what make your backyard and fast lane. It's your way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? And the way a lot of y'all brothers think, your backyard. You're going to forever be backyard. Backyard boogie. You know? I mean, like the boys say, if you're wired like a sucker, you're going to move and think like a sucker. Just plain out and simple. You know, and like I said, man, you don't want to be on the news. Put yourself in situations not to make the news. You know, it just is what it is. Plain out and simple, man. You know, plain out and simple. You know, no one man is better than the next man when it comes to this news. You know what I'm saying? You fuck up, you fuck up. Simple as that, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't up here talking for my health. You know? I ain't up here talking for my health. The same way you got Arkansas, dog bus, you know what I'm saying? You don't really got a write-up on it. You got a little information about it. Brothers pull over in a traffic stop. You know, dog fighting situation. Controlled substance situation. Dog, at the end of the day, you know I hate it for a lot of brothers because I know or may brush shoulders with a lot of brothers. But I give the news. You know what I'm saying? I can't play favoritism. You know what I'm saying? I can't do none of that stuff like that because when I do that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? It takes the credibility from whatever else I'm speaking about in the future. You know what I'm saying? We got to do this thing fair, uncut, raw, and unbiased. You know what I'm saying? Plain out and simple, man. Plain out and simple. You know, now, let's get to this right here, dog talk, you know. Let's get to this dog talk right here. Let's talk about the bullies in the dog game. Let's talk about a lot of y'all old schoolers, what I noticed, you know, and a lot of folk got, you know, we can say what ruined the game, but I see a lot of folk, a lot of old school bulldogs take money and they overlook what's right. Because you give them a couple dollars, they overlook what's right. You know, or do flunky shit. And this the thing, you know, brothers, you know, and tell me if I'm right or if I'm wrong, you know. A lot of y'all old schoolers, you came to me only when somebody on my channel saying something about you, right? A lot of y'all came to me, oh, why you let them say this? Or why you let them say that, right? But you never once came to me and say, let me help you do this. Yo, let's do this right here, man. I got something, a good topic to talk about tonight. Or let me just come rock with you, right? So it's a bully mentality, right? Because you be on these channels where brothers get bashed at. You be on these channels where you try to hide what you're saying. Like I said before, y'all the only dumbass motherfuckers in this dog community. You hide from people. You don't hide it from the police. Which one of y'all think a dog talk can be secretive on Patreon? You see, when you talk about these pit bulls, this better be something you want the public to hear. You know, this better be something you want the public to hear because at the end of the day, you cannot advertise, you can't promote, you can't sell or transport. No dogs. Advertising goes all the way around. Advertising goes all the way around. It means on Patreon, it means on everything. You know? But this the only community where brothers, they hide from the people in the community. When the things they doing, they should be hiding from the police. But like I said, y'all brothers, you know, you don't see what everybody else doing. But when your name get called up, then you want to come running. Then you want to come running. Then you want to talk about this. Like I said, man, I ain't with that bully shit. I did my own bulldogging. At the end of the day, we all the same. You was a bulldog, I'm a bulldog. You know what I'm saying? You're going to respect me the same way I'm going to respect you at the end of the day. You know, I just know when I look across this community, right? Now, specifically speaking, y'all always want to start crying when I start getting on Buck City ass and all y'all that's hanging with them ass, y'all always want to start crying. But we're going to start with 7-8 today. You know what I'm saying? We're going to start with him and we're going to come on down. You know, always start crying. What y'all crying be doing when these brothers be all on their channel bashing everybody else? It's kiki and laughing then, right? It's funny then, right? Oh, we gonna keep making our moves while they trying to destroy these other brothers over here, right? It's cool, all y'all old schoolers. You're making a couple dollars, so you shut your fucking mouth and you don't speak up for what's right. You know what I'm saying? You don't, period. That's why I say, man, a lot of the sucker shit, a lot of these old schoolers do right now, man, you probably been doing this sucker shit, you know? And like I said, at the end of the day, man, brothers like 7-8, you know, you straight up run panels, you deal with brothers, and all y'all brothers, I'm calling all y'all out, not talking trash about y'all, but telling y'all about yourselves. You know what I'm saying? For one, you're not, 7-8 lied to these brothers. You acting like you came up behind your granddaddy in the dog game when you was an ex-bully breeder. You know what I'm saying? If you can even be considered a bully breeder. You know, you're not born into this dog shit. You know, you lied to these brothers. Get a panel of old school doggers and try to look a certain kind of way. Next thing I say is, you sit here and let your flunky ass friend Buck City try to tear, because he can't tear shit that we got going on. We straight iron over here. You know, he try to rip dogs that we got, but you got dogs off of our dogs. You know, 7-8, you got a dog in your yard right now, and I got the mama dog for it. You know, but you won't speak up about your dog. I tell you what, 7-8, give me that dog back. You know, give me or give us that dog back if it ain't no good. You know, if it's not the family dog you want. But I say that's the difference between real bulldoggers and pussies. See, what it look like is all y'all stick together on the West Coast. Got Garcia, he stick with all y'all. He'll jump on a flunky channel anytime. You know, steal content and do all that type of stuff. All y'all West Coast brothers, you stick together whether the person right or wrong. You know, Buck City can't even have no dogs. You know, he brings the type of heat nobody wants to have in the dog game around them. But all y'all cater to that shit. All y'all baby and pamper that shit. And that's why Maul Kent in the situation he is now. And right now, all y'all looking around like, oh, who did this? Who did what? Who did this? Man, listen here, man. Stupid is as stupid does. Like I told y'all brothers. You know, you think folk be hating about this, but you just plain out stupid. Plain out stupid. But like I said, man, we don't need no bullies over here. That shit don't fly over here. And 7-8, it look funny, man. It seems like you don't got no bulldog homeboys on the East Coast and down south, you know, that willing to ride for you like them Buck City flunkies gonna do. That's why all y'all stick together. You know, all y'all stick together. You don't bring nothing to the table nowadays when it comes to the dog. And your entertainment is really not that good when it comes to dogs. Like I said before, I did say that, 7-8. We know what type of person you is when it comes to shit talking, and you're going to do what you're talking about doing. We holler at my folk, True Media. Florida brother. All this shit you talk until you get face to face with a brother. So I say, y'all boys build y'all platforms. Y'all boys build y'all friends on trying to be bullies. You know what I'm saying? That's why y'all get mad when I talk about the gangs and all that stuff like that, because you built on being a follower. No matter how stupid the brother is you following. Oh, I'm going to follow him. I'll jump off the cliff with him. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, man, it's mighty funny. All y'all old school ass dog men to be on them YouTube channels, when I get folk up here or when I start speaking about shit, your name start coming up, then you want to come call me. But you can't do nothing to stop. Yeah, a lot of y'all old schoolers, you could have stopped a lot of that stuff way back a year ago. But it's funny to y'all when they talking about me. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you don't control nothing that come off my channel. You don't run shit. I don't give a damn about your background, what you did back in the days, because that shit over. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't doing shit for these dogs modern day time, you ain't hitting no shit but a story. You know what I'm saying? That's all you is, a story. You know? So, hey, give it to brothers how I give it to brothers, man. You know, I just got to call it where I see it. A lot of these old schoolers, you take a couple dollars and you overlook what's right with these dogs. And you think I'm going to overlook it because you being a bitch. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to call you, like I said, your heroes ain't my heroes. You know what I'm saying? And just because you was bulldogging before me, don't mean you was bulldogging better than me. I'm going to tell all my brothers that. Let them know that, brothers, my young brothers. Just because you was bulldogging before me, don't mean you was bulldogging better than me. You know what I'm saying? And when I say better than me, I'm going to say it like this right here. We all bulldog. If you bulldog, if you won, you lost, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? And then some of these brothers was connected with the magazine man. Hey, it's all good. Because some of these brothers today connected with the book man. You know? So, I mean, shit, we going to play it how it go, bro. We going to play it how it go. And this is the thing about it. Y'all old school brothers could have stopped all that stuff. Y'all be behind the scenes agging it on. Y'all be behind the scenes, oh yeah, this, oh yeah, that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say I don't respect your dog game. You know what I'm saying? I done seen a lot of y'all brothers who talk that talk. I done seen your dog game. And it ain't impressive to me. You know what I'm saying? I just don't talk about shit, certain things on this channel. You know? Everything not meant to talk about. A good dog story is a good dog story, though. And like I said, man, it's looking like y'all West Coast brothers, y'all just trying to stick with each other just because you from the West Side. You know what I'm saying? Just because you from the West Side. Instead of sticking with who doing right and who speaking about the right shit. Or you want to be mad with this brother because, man, listen here, man. Y'all motherfuckers played out, washed up and through, man. You know, gangsters, gangsters, gangsters is what y'all need to start channels on, being gangsters. That's what y'all need to start channels on. You know, he ain't good at that as well. But bulldogging, man, listen here, man. You know, and I'm speaking to all y'all that done been on all them flunky channels. You know what I'm saying? All of them. There's some good West Coast bulldoggers over there, don't get it wrong. Good West Coast bulldoggers. You know what I'm saying? Great West Coast bulldoggers out there. Top shot of West Coast bulldogs, but it ain't y'all. You know? Like I said before, man, shit. You ain't contributing nothing today's time. All that shit they wrote about, it don't mean shit. See, anybody that want to know how my dog's bred, if I'm showing a female pregnant or something, go check my old videos out. You know what I'm saying? I done did too much talking about pedigrees over the past couple past week. You know what I'm saying? Go check them videos out and you see how what's bred, how they bred. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, where are all y'all bullies at when you're doing the bullying? When you're calling people names? 7-8, you don't think this is the thing, you know what I'm saying? This is the thing, 7-8. See, you need to be talking to me. You know, you live by the impression that a person can control another person. A person can control what another person do or what another person say. So since y'all live and go by them rules and them laws, I know that y'all can stop and control what your homeboys be doing. You know what I'm saying? You laughing, like I said before. You be on the back streets laughing. It's all entertainment. You trying to do this until they start getting hot, and then oh man, don't say this or don't say that. They gonna get in trouble. You think I give a fuck about who get in trouble? Like I said, Buck said he ain't supposed to be around me. I can have dogs. He can't have no dogs. Why the fuck is he even in my conversation for? Elmer James Givens Jr. You think I give a damn? 7-8, you soft as whoopee cushion. You know, you don't stand up for a breed you got in your yard and you let brothers talk trash about it. You soft as cake. You think I give a damn? Sam Nate, you don't really know what you're talking about in boxing half the damn time when you're talking about Deontay Wilder and Devin Haney. You done ran them in the hole until both of them became losers. But oh yeah, you think, oh, I get boom, I get this person. It have the dog community blind and make it think I'm a big dog, man, or I'm a dog. Man, listen here, man, flunky shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't hit me up on no back street. Y'all ain't hit me up in the last year and a half when these folk out here saying this, saying that, saying this, saying that, but you continue to talk your dog talk on your channel. Fuck you. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, if you don't like it, like I always say, do something about it. But don't call me on no back street trying to make no peace treaties about shit. It is what it is when it come to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if your name out there for rubbing, you know what I'm saying? This and that, this and that. I don't care about none of that. You know, you don't care about my situations. Oh, you want me to keep your name? You want me to keep your name this and your name that? Stand on that shit then. I don't give a damn which one of y'all get talked about on my damn channel thus far. Now, I do videos and I speak about the red boy dogs and I say certain things. See, I don't know everything, right? But this is what I do know. You're not going to be in no chat telling me something about what Hargrove didn't like, what Tom Garner didn't like, or what they did do, or what Fat Bill didn't do. And when I'm talking about red boy country, when I'm talking about red boy dogs in red boy country, you're not going to tell me nothing about these brothers because you look high on these brothers and they from the Carolinas. See, the Carolinas is not red boy country. South Carolina is red boy country. And South Carolina is not red boy country. Red boy country is red boy country. If you don't know it, plain out simple. It is what it is. You know, it ain't the whole South Carolina. And it definitely ain't the Carolinas. You know what I'm saying? And see, we talking about when you're really bulldogging or when you're reading from a fucking book. You know what I'm saying? That's what we talking about. You know? And I just don't understand it, man. Everybody want to be historians. Everybody want to be historians. Yo, you got 30 books. You got 100 books. Man, I'm just from the area. I just live here, dog. Man, listen here, man. I'm not going to be from no South Carolina and I'm telling a brother from the Bronx about a story that happened in the Bronx. There's no way in hell that shit going to happen. I'm from South Carolina because I read it in the book. I'm going to dispute you down, brother. You know, oh, so-and-so from the, so-and-so, they ain't from the Bronx, they from Staten Island. They didn't like that stuff. Well, we ain't talking about Staten Island. We talking about the Bronx. You know? Or we ain't talking about New Jersey. We talking about New York. Or we ain't talking about Maryland. We talking about New York. We ain't talking about Florida. We talking about a particular area in the Carolinas. But a brother, get up there, get down in the chat, Pitbull historians. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know, you know. I want to send a big shout out and big thank you to everybody that support the channel throughout the years, throughout the weeks, throughout the days, throughout the months. Appreciate all my brothers, man. I appreciate all my brothers, you know. I want to speak on this as well. Any brothers that's running dogs, you can look around and see it for yourself. You know, anybody, when you're just getting in the dog game, right? If you don't know this already, a lot of people already know this. When it go to selling your bloodline or your dogs or whatever kind of dogs you got, the hate gonna come from the people that got the same dogs as you got. The hate ain't, my hate don't come from the Eli brothers. My hate come from the people that got the same pedigrees when it come to, or the yellow dogs or the red boy Jocko dogs. Not even the same pedigrees, or red boy Jocko dogs with this or that, you know. The hate gonna always come from the people that's running the same stuff from you, you know, or the same stuff as you. It ain't gonna come from your Bolio brothers, Both of your brothers is not your opposition. You see, your both of your brother over there selling his dog for $5,000, that ain't hurting their feelings. They don't got that kind of dog. But the brother who got the same pedigrees they got, when he's selling his for $5,000, or he's selling his for a certain price, he might be got the cheapest ones. The hate gonna come up. It's always the dudes that's running the same dogs as you's running that's gonna give you the problems throughout your program. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna never be them other brothers, man. Always your salt shaking. If you're running Eli, look out for them Eli brothers. If you're running Jeep, look out for the Jeep brothers. You ain't gonna never have hate coming on you from the Jeep, from the Red Boy Jocko brothers. You're not gonna have that hate. Your hate gonna come from Jeep brothers. My brothers who running Boils dogs. Your hate gonna come from the brothers who running the Boil stuff. You know what I'm saying? Plain out and simple. When it come to that dude Buck City, you know, from what I hear, he called one of the reporters that reported on this case. Man, listen here, still trying to bully people. You know, still trying to bully somebody. I hope that man write an article on the call that you made to him. I hope that news reporter in Tacoma, Pierce County, Washington, write an article about a ex-dog owner who the court said couldn't own no kind of dog anymore, called me asking me why I did a report on him. You're damn right. I would have did a report on him too, brother. You know, the biggest piece of shit scum in Tacoma, Washington, get busted with dogs 3 times back to back in a matter of a year and a half, and you thinking, why we ain't gonna write about this? Why the reporters ain't gonna write about it? I told y'all brothers, man, these dudes is dumb, man. Dumb. And they wonder why they getting busted like they getting busted. Dumb. Dumb. Call a man up because see, views getting low, content getting low. So you call a man up, asking him a logical question. Why the hell he did a report? I tell you what, anybody that ever got arrested for anything and you've been in the newspaper, why they put you in the newspaper? Ask them. That's the way newspapers do. That's the way the news been doing over the past century. Over the past century, it's always been news outlets. New York Times, this and that, the Sun News. It's always been news outlets. And everybody know how it go when it comes to news outlets. You know, how it come. And like I said before, man, I can't spare one brother. If I spare one brother, then I gotta spare another brother. And then I gotta spare another brother. Then I gotta spare another brother. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the day, then it comes a whole bunch of hidden shit. You know, whole bunch of hidden stuff. What you should have been trying to hide was what you was doing. This other part, you shouldn't have to. Why is you worrying about that being hid for? Why is y'all trying to hide y'all getting in trouble, but you won't hide the stuff you doing to get in trouble? You wasn't good at hiding that, so your damn sure ain't gonna be good at hiding the news. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, man, I don't need all day to say what I can say in 15 minutes, but I did want to get a few points across, you know. I'm gonna tell you like this here, man. From what I noticed, there's many of these brothers in this dog community, the level of thinking they got. Let me help y'all understand, to my people that's watching this video, you know, that may not even be a dog lover or into this Pitbull community like some of these brothers is. These brothers' level of thinking is the same level of thinking them dudes in New Orleans that broke out of that jail. They got busted right there in the city, right down there in the French quarters, right down in the projects, right in their home. Dog, what common sense is that? You to break out of jail, what common sense is you to break out of jail and then get on Instagram and say, we out here, we live, we out here. That's the same kind of people we dealing with in the dog community. Same kind of people. Ignorant, dumb, fugazi, flunkies. Elmer James Gibbons don't supposed to have no dogs. He don't supposed to be around no dogs, and he not supposed to be advertising no dogs. You know, not supposed to be doing it. So what you want me to do, you want me to take the rocks that y'all throw, and you want me to tone my rocks down. You see? No, man, I told y'all, man. I told you. You in the presence of people you're not supposed to be in the presence of, dog. You know, Elmer James Gibbons Jr., what have you learned in your dog fighting courses that you take online? You know, tell us, please, and tell us, dog, Elmer James Gibbons Jr., please tell us how them folk went from the judge giving you a lifetime ban, and then in a matter of a year time, you telling us you got a 2-year ban on dogs. Tell us how that go down Bucks Hitter Kennels, a.k.a. Kraken Kennels, a.k.a. Jeff Bizzo, a.k.a. Jose. Listen, Sam Nate, you want that smoke in that smoke, man. Y'all boys, listen here, man. Y'all want to throw rocks, hide, toss rocks, say this, say that, and manage how that shit get tossed back. Maybe that shit go down like that in Milwaukee, man. Salute to my real Milwaukee brothers. You know what I'm saying? Salute to them real Milwaukee brothers up there. You know, hey, but that shit y'all boys be trying to run, it don't run over here. If y'all brothers haven't learned yet, they'll hate you for not being stupid now. They will hate you for not being stupid, not making the dumb moves they making. You know what I'm saying? And not being naive to the just the way of living that they want you to do. You know? And man, like I said, to each his own. I'm just a news anchor giving this news. I hate to do it with a lot of brothers, you know, when it comes to this news at the end of the day, because a lot of brothers are good and they get caught up in bad situations, but we all have choices when it comes to this dog stuff. You know what I'm saying? We all got choices. The choices you make is, you know, hey, the results you're going to get. You know, and like I said, man, why hide the news? What you should be hiding is before you got to the news. That's what you should have been hiding. Making sure you was, when you thought you was being secretive, you should have been extra secretive. You know what I'm saying? Should have been extra secretive. But you want to hide the part that you shouldn't be hiding. The news part. The part that brothers need to see. That these brothers get jammed up out here with these dogs. These brothers get jammed up out here in Arkansas with these dogs with controlled substances. Don't make me right. Don't make me right. Don't make me right. Sometimes you can easily fight off the dogs. You can easily fight off the dogs. Sometimes. But then you got your controlled substances. Then you got your other stuff. You can't fight off the dogs now. You got to fight off your controlled substances. You got to take these pleas, you know. You got to take these pleas. You see, a lot of y'all think y'all win because you don't get a lot of time, because you took a plea for 6 months probation. You think you win. You think you won. But you in the system now. Nah, they won, dog. And you'll understand that 10 years later, 10 years down the road. You know, you in the system now. But like I said, man, I ain't here to daddy you up, baby you up. I'm here to get a news. You know what I'm saying? Plain out and simple. I've been saying this for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You know, you don't want to make that news? Don't make that news, man. Hey, but I'm just a brother, man, that came up in this dog thing. Came up in here with my own dogs with a couple stories that the brothers didn't agree with. Oh, you ain't supposed to have your own stories. You know, I'm just a brother who came up in the dog game that ain't about to accept anything because I ran through shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't one of y'all brothers, like I said before. Some of y'all will only, in my days, I'm telling you, take a lot of y'all brothers, take y'all back to our days, you'll be scared to go into people like Southern Kennels, Vietnam, and Vice Grip. You'll be scared to go into these brothers, but you'll buy dogs from them. Oh, I ain't ready to go. My keep ain't ready for him yet. But you'll get out here and down another brother. You know what I'm saying? Listen here, man. They ain't made a kennel in my days in the Wild Wild West days in the 90s. They ain't made a kennel I wouldn't run up on. You know what I'm saying? Shit. If my dog, if I got a dog that I felt confident about, shit, man. I can feel confident with him. I'm feeling confident with you. You know, that's backyard thinking. Backyard thinking, I told you, it's a way of thinking. It ain't the person you went on. It's the way you thinking. Oh, I can beat him. I can't beat him. You backyard, that's why. You know, you're not a champion. You're not built to be a champion. You backyard. There's some people gonna be backyard, and then you got the others. You know, it's your boy PB K9s. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay legal, and I'm out.